Welcome to this video on the 4 pillars of product management. Every great decision you make hinges on 4 key areas: business, technology, design, and leadership. Neglecting even one can compromise your product and your professional credibility. We'll explore a framework to keep these 4 pillars in perfect balance. Why does this framework matter? Many product managers excel in one area, but quietly neglect others. This creates imbalances that lead to missed deadlines or misaligned teams. In this video, we'll learn what good looks like in each pillar and how to apply this model to your future decision-making. Let's look at the 4 pillars at a glance. Business is about value and ROI. Technology is about understanding constraints without becoming the engineer. Design focuses on empathy and craft. Leadership is about influencing without authority. Mastering these creates a strong foundation for your product management career. Remember, the goal isn't to be an expert in all 4 pillars. You just need enough fluency in each to ask the right questions and build trust. This framework helps you recognize signals and avoid being fooled, ensuring you are a well-rounded partner to every function. Our first pillar is business. It's all about value, return on investment, and business model fit. The business pillar is about reasoning through the consequences of your decisions. It requires understanding value creation, value capture, business model fit, and ROI. Conflating user value with business value is a common early career mistake, so focus on mastering these distinct concepts. Ask yourself, should we build this? This 3-stage framework, cost, value, and capture, connects your investment to business impact. If a feature creates user value but doesn't support the business model, it's likely the wrong call. To develop business fluency, understand your company's revenue model. Get comfortable with core financial vocabulary like CAC and LTV, and always frame your feature proposals in terms of business outcomes. This helps you speak the same language as your leadership team. Moving to the second pillar, technology. This is about maintaining fluency, understanding trade-offs, and building trust. Technical fluency for product managers is about understanding how systems are built so you can have meaningful conversations. Avoid knowing too little, which leaves you vulnerable, or too much, which can undermine your engineering team's ownership. Aim for that just right balance. The right questions build trust. Instead of telling engineers how to build, ask about their assumptions, potential alternative approaches, and dependencies. Avoid questions that imply you know better, as these erode the partnership necessary for success. Technical fluency builds credibility. By understanding technical constraints, evaluating the right trade-offs, and protecting engineering time, you demonstrate that you are a reliable and well-prepared partner. Our third pillar is design. It requires empathy, good judgment, and an appreciation for craft. Design fluency means recognizing when something isn't working for the user. Focus on building genuine user empathy, developing your design judgment to recognize what good looks like, and collaborating constructively with your design team. Learn to identify flows that feel wrong, like unnecessary sign-up friction or poor mobile layouts. Your role is to define the problem clearly so your design partners can craft the best solutions. Focus on the user's mental model to improve the experience effectively. Developing your design taste requires practice. Use products critically, watching where you hesitate or feel confused. Observe users directly, rather than relying solely on surveys. Participate in design critiques to learn the language and standards used by designers, which will eventually become your own vocabulary. The final pillar is leadership. This covers influence, alignment, and authority. It is often the most underrated skill for a product manager. As a PM, you have no formal authority over your team, but your job is to make everyone else's work easier. This isn't a bug, it's by design. Influence without authority is what separates product managers who ship great products from those who struggle. Influence is built on 4 non-positional levers: trust, credibility, clarity, and alignment. Since you don't control headcount or performance reviews, your ability to lead depends entirely on how well you maintain these 4 levers. Many new PMs underinvest in leadership. It feels less tangible than technical or business skills, and success in early career roles often relies on individual contribution. But eventually, neglecting leadership means the team stops bringing you into critical conversations. Build influence by communicating with clarity, shielding your team from unnecessary noise, navigating conflicts productively, and celebrating shared wins. When you amplify others, you become a partner everyone wants to work with. The PM sits at the center of every function, controlling none of them. This reality makes leadership a non-negotiable skill. Every interaction is a deposit into your reputation as someone people want to build with. Remember that these 4 pillars don't work in isolation. Missing one leads to lopsided results. You might build elegant tech that doesn't sell, or optimize metrics while frustrating your users. True product mastery comes from balancing all 4. When a pillar is missing, even technically sound decisions can fail. If you neglect leadership and alignment, your team won't support the rollout, leading to confusion and frustration. The solution must be balanced across all lenses. Let's walk through a real example, a pricing change. We will apply each of the 4 pillars to see how the decision evolves as we consider business viability, technical feasibility, user experience, and cross-functional leadership. Through the business lens, we ask about viability. Does this change improve margins? How does it affect revenue predictability and LTV? The focus here is strictly on the financial health of the company. The technology lens asks if we can measure usage accurately and handle the migration smoothly. Can we build this without introducing errors that destroy user trust? A naive PM accepts we'll handle it without understanding the implementation reality. Design is about the user experience of pricing. Usage-based models can introduce cognitive load, making it harder for users to feel safe using the product. We must ensure the UI provides enough clarity to reduce this anxiety. Finally, the leadership lens focuses on alignment. You need to involve sales, finance, and support early. Real alignment happens during the analysis phase, not after the decision is already made. The decision shifted as each lens was applied, evolving from a simple revenue idea into a comprehensive cross-functional initiative. This is the goal of our framework, to help you see the full picture and avoid the pitfalls of a single lens approach. Now it's your turn. Use the scorecard provided in your resources to rate yourself across the 4 pillars. This isn't a test, it's a diagnostic tool. Your goal is to identify your current center of gravity and the specific area that needs the most attention over the coming months. Many product managers fall into predictable patterns based on their backgrounds. Ex-engineers often over-index on technical elegance. Ex-designers may prioritize UX at the expense of business goals. Ex-analysts sometimes neglect the human, relational side of leadership. Recognizing your tendency is the first step toward balance. If you identify a gap, don't try to become an expert overnight. Focus on achieving functional fluency. For business, shadow finance or build a simple model. For tech, ask for architecture walkthroughs. For design, critique common apps. For leadership, map your stakeholders and address their concerns proactively. Remember, this framework is a lens, not a static checklist. The goal is for these 4 perspectives, business, technology, design, and leadership, to surface simultaneously in your mind during every decision. With practice, this holistic approach becomes second nature. Great product decisions are born from the tension and synthesis of these 4 pillars. Your job is to hold all perspectives at once, reconcile their inherent conflicts, and steer your team toward a solution that is viable, feasible, desirable, and aligned. To summarize, strive for fluency, not perfection. Leadership is your most critical, high-leverage skill. Remember that these pillars interact constantly, so you cannot rely on just one. Finally, make applying this lens an instinctive part of your decision-making process every single time. Your deliverable is the 4-pillar scorecard, Download the template, rate yourself honestly, and identify your strongest and weakest areas. Then define a concrete, time-bound plan for your development. A strong submission includes specific evidence for your ratings and a reanalysis of a recent decision you've made. In short, business, technology, design, and leadership. Apply all four every time. That is the job. Coming up next, we'll move beyond the process-heavy debates of agile versus waterfall. We'll discuss why the real question is how your methodology matches the nature of your uncertainty, and we'll introduce a framework for choosing the right approach. You've successfully completed Episode 3. You now have the core framework that will guide you through the rest of this course. Remember to revisit your scorecard at the end of each module to track your professional growth. This program was brought to you by the Series of Thoughts team.